Hey guys, Leilani here. We are excited in the group this is going to be in the group Passion to Profits. We have again had technical difficulties, which is just fine. Like I said, shared with you before, we're going to keep attempting to go live with all these amazing entrepreneurs and interviews because sometimes Facebook doesn't have glitches like that, and when they don't, live's always fun. So anyway, right now for the recorded version, we have an amazing, amazing guest, Miss Megan Davies, who's going to talk with us today about really just keeping our goals. She's a nutrition coach, and she's a little bit different than a lot of nutrition coaches I've come across before. So I'll let you go ahead and hear from her so you can kind of get to know what I'm talking about here. Hey, Megan.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on here. It's fun. I'm glad that we're on. Just push past the technical difficulties and just gonna have a really great conversation and some good content. I am the owner of Authentic Nutrition Coaching. I offer just as much on the mindset and the habit shift and creating more awareness for my clients, as well as the obvious learn how to cook. How do I hold a knife? And really making all of the hurdles that stand in the way of living a healthy lifestyle a little bit smaller. So.
I like how you said, how do I hold the knife? Because it really breaks it down. Oh, like the little simplest thing, like let's keep it simple. That's what that kind of reminded me of, because I feel like we make it a little bit more difficult than it is sometimes. But I mean, you know that because that's your area of expertise, right?
Yeah. Well, the longer I've been doing this, the more I'm always very fascinated of like, well, what is their experience like? And what really gets me excited is like, what is happening on the inside of their brain? Like, what is the conversation that's happening, and how can I like create a pattern interruption where they're like, whoa, I had no idea that I was constantly repeating to myself over and over again of like, cooking so hard, it takes a lot of time, it's too expensive, I'm not whatever enough to do it, or I'm too busy to, or whatever it is. But there's a lot of this where it's like, oh, okay, like it's actually that you're just not comfortable holding a knife. You feel like you should know how to use different seasonings or whatever. And it's just like, I'm just not confident. Or another one is, I'm afraid to make something taste bad. Like they're afraid to experiment and play with their food, which I think is like really ingrained in us as children. Like, get out of the kitchen, don't play with your food. Like, no, those are the wrong messages. Do both. Like, get in the kitchen, experiment, and listen to your body. So
I love that. What are some things that you have sort of like where you notice people coming to you about and having like similarities a lot, like within our culture specifically? Like, what do you notice a lot going on where it's like, no, you don't have to do that, or we don't have to go through that you see quite often?
Just
like bad habits, or
do you mean just like culturally, or what's the theme?
Yeah, like like people who are just kind of eating on the go maybe, or just things that are just quite common that people are doing that really there's simple solutions to that they don't need to do.
Yeah. Typically what I see a lot is, we're both entrepreneurs, and I'm very familiar with the female entrepreneur world. And what I see often is that they'll create a back-to-back schedule. So they're taking calls all day.
Are you talking to me directly? I feel like you're talking to me directly.
Or whatever it is, but there's a story in there about like, I don't have time to take a break because everything I need to do needs to be driving business and helping more people. And like, there's this sort of like manicness to it.
Right.
That can begin to get a little wobbly, and then eventually there's a crash. So what I love to do is give people really small things. So for example, drink more water. Everyone knows it, but I think it's really curious what comes up for people. People are like, oh, I'm going to have to pee all the time. And it's like, good, you need to get out and take a break. And on your way to the bathroom, you can like stretch and like move.
Okay, what about when we're flying all over the place, Megan? I mean, I think that's valid.
Yeah.
When we think that. No.
Well, like women who are traveling for business, it's hard. Like, you know, like my business is really based on how to cook healthy meals from home and like, yeah, and I like leaving the house with these meals or not. You know, but I always make myself breakfast. Anyway, to answer your question, like, what about the women who are flying around? I think it's about having the confidence and the knowledge to make the healthiest choice possible and to know like, okay, I'm going to be staying at a hotel. Like, is there like a natural market nearby that I can grab like these two things to like sort of boost my weekend so it's not so bad, you know? So like small things like that, which lay a really strong foundation so that you stop going through life with these like, I'm doing awesome, I'm doing everything right, and then something happens, and then you back down into a trough, and then like, what habits, and then back up again. So I really try and help clients shift out of the yo-yo because it's not sustainable and it's really not serving you. So really the power is in simplicity and small consistent habits.
Mm-hmm. And you're a proponent of you want people to sort of eat for, not sort of, but you think people should eat for their body type, right? And listen to their body. I mean, it's not that we should be on any particular diet, or is there something that you do believe in as far as the dieting aspect goes?
I mean, I do have a lot of beliefs around nutrition. Like if you're going to eat animal products, like try and choose a high quality animal product. One, because like we don't need extra hormones and antibiotics in our body. And like two, because it's really good for the environment. It's also higher nutritionally. Like there's just so much more going on. I remember looking at a chart and it was like, this is like, it's like a little bar chart. It's like, this is a like wild animal. This is a wild elk. And it's like nutritionally, it's awesome. And then slightly lower was the, not slightly, but like lower was like perhaps a pastured, like grass-fed cow. And then lower, much lower, was like your conventional cow that's fed corn and soy and like doesn't move around and is fed antibiotics because it's sick. It's not in a good condition. And like nutritional density, which is something I talk about, like just much higher when we choose a natural food. So high quality animal products. Number two, eat vegetables like every day, at least if you can. Like this is where I get people to go, but like bottom line, like one meal needs to be pretty vegetable heavy.
Okay.
You know, and then we move into like.
What about fruits?
Fruits are great. Vegetables are better for you than fruits. So I tend to like be really vegetable heavy. I typically don't really eat that much fruit. I'm weirdly wired where I don't really have a sweet tooth. So, and then healthy fats. We had a bit of a fat scare in like the 80s and 90s where it was like fat free and like low fat diet. It's like, no, that's like one of the worst things you could do is like go on a diet.
Right. Someone told me the other day you need fat to eliminate fat. So what are some healthy fats? I know avocado is one, but that's the only thing that ever comes to my mind.
Avocado, coconut oil, really just any natural fat. So
love
like
coconut oil.
Flaxseed, hemp. Hemp is a great one. Grass-fed butter, which is different than conventional butter. Grass-fed butter is actually like, you know, vitamin A and D and like, it's like, there's a lot going on. And conventional butter is what gets the bad rap of being inflammatory.
Oh.
Because the cow, if you go back to the source, like how is the cow raised? Cow is in a state of inflammation because it's not living a healthy life. Its products are also going to be inflammatory. So always choose a grass-fed butter. It's just a few bucks more. If you can have dairy, it's great. Ghee, coconut oil, like love coconut oil. It's so good for you. Yeah, like don't be afraid of like the animal fat. Like you know, as long as it's in a balanced diet, like sure, put bacon fat in your eggs, but also have like a very vegetable heavy lunch later in the day.
Mm-hmm. I love this. This is such good information because I didn't know that about butter. I love coconut oil, so that's not a problem at all. And avocados galores over here, so that's perfect. What is it that you would say? Because I'm in the process of doing my resolutions. And I know a lot of other people are doing their resolutions on their list, and it's not even like as you get older and you've had years and years of doing resolutions and you've failed at these New Year's resolutions, and almost every year it has something to do, at least one thing in there has something to do with your health or weight, right? So what do you say to these people to actually give them hope that they're going to actually be able to get it right this time and have follow through with their resolutions? So while you're writing them, you're not like, oh yeah, I'm not going to do that, you know, and actually, you know, get excited and accomplish these things. Any advice on that?
Yeah, I have quite a bit to say, so I'll try and keep it succinct. Number one, which is like very much like part of my methodology, is like, who is the woman that you want to become? What is she like? So if you think about where you want to be in maybe a year, 6 months, you know, a lot can happen in 6 months if you're like dedicated and consistent. Think about those ways of being. So like responsible or like committed or like powerful, sexy, whatever it is, like that is tied to your why. So usually a identity is an identity shift is needed to shift our habits.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's usually something in there of like I had no problem going gluten and dairy free because like that's what my body asked me to do. It really wasn't working for me to eat those things, but I'm like a particular person. I like things need to be a certain way, so it was in line with my identity. If I was like this like fun going party girl, like I'm easygoing, that would have been really hard because I would have been like, hey, what's in that? Like I can't order that. Like, oh, let's not go there. But it's like I'm used to being a particular person, so it wasn't that big of a shift for me. So I would say like, who do you want to be? And like, is your goal in alignment with like where you're at now? And is there a progression? So if you've been a couch potato and you're wanting 2019 to start out powerfully and you want to transition into something, like don't decide to be like a green juice chugging marathon runner, because like, one, why is that your idea of success? And two, that's quite the leap to go. So like just start with like going for a walk maybe 3 times a week, like a quick walk around your house, 20 minutes or something, you know?
I love that. That's incredible advice. Thank you for that. And I'm going to use it. I am. So before we get going, I just want to say, you know, I just want to ask you, you know, what are the best ways that people can find you? I know after they've seen this information, they're going to want to know the answer to that and how to maybe learn from you in the future, what you have going on, maybe even be able to work with you. Can you share with us some ways to reach you?
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram as Authentic Nutrition Coach. AuthenticNutritionCoach.com is my website, and I do put blogs up there, and I'll put links to good content I'll put up on YouTube. Some really exciting things going forward are a webinar in January and a 2-day in-person intensive in February. So some really cool opportunities to work together and go deeper on what's been going on so far in January and how can we continue to practice healthy habits and have an incredible, vibrant 2019.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you so much for being with us here today, Megan. This was an amazing interview and just so much information. I appreciate all of it. And looking forward to chatting again with you soon. If any of you guys have any questions, Megan will be happy to answer them in the comments. She's a part of the group as well. So make sure you all comment if you have any questions and reach out if you'd like to work with Megan. All right, everybody, have a great day or a great night. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Megan.